What is up, everybody? Happy Friday morning. We're taking a look at some properties, and I was originally going to try and find a good deal, but quite frankly, I think there's more entertaining deals to look at that are blatantly overpriced and kind of hilarious. So we're going to look at a deal and talk about really like what the hell is this person thinking? What's the broker thinking? What's the situation? What can we tell from the situation out there? And generally, basically, like if you really want to sell your property and you're actually looking to sell your home, or in this case, a duplex, like what you should be thinking about and how you should be putting yourself in your buyer's shoes, especially in the case of an investment property. So let's get this thing pulled up, and we're going to take a look here. All right, so this is our Columbus MLS. So you're gonna little look behind the scenes here, whatever. So this is a property. I'm gonna pull it up on the map. Um, what in the sweet Mary Jesus just happened there? Okay. Well, the map is not working. That's not very helpful. Let's hang up on Google Maps then, I guess. So this place is up here in Grandview. What's interesting about Grandview is that this is basically like cool part of town adjacent, if you will. So this Grandview Ave right here is where like the trendiest bars, um, like nice restaurants, shit like that is. So it's really in a nice area. Same thing here, main kind of retail area. Lots of like bar, like this is where the cool kids want to come out and go out in town. Over here, you got the new Ohio State Medical Center just across 315 here, but there's a major barrier bisecting the trade area here. So in 315. So like it's close by the way the bird flies, but like this creates a pretty substantial mental barrier and like physical barrier to get over there. There's only a couple places that cross the river here. This whole interchange up here is a goddamn clusterfuck. It's pretty terrible. And then this is the OSU campus. So like a lot of like, the young kids and young professionals who went to OSU or like get jobs at the hospital. Battelle's right here. That's a major employer. They all want to live over here in Grandview. However, the important thing to note is that with the exception of Broadview up until about this point, right before right before Third Ave here, I believe, is the barrier, and it kind of does one of these like jog around doodads here, is the Grandview schools border. So while this is Columbus schools and it's technically would, like, if people lived here, they'd probably say, hey, I live in Grandview. Not Grandview schools. It's a very important distinction. It's still Columbus schools, it's Columbus taxes, but you get somewhat of an appreciation based off of it being like near the bars and everything like that. So location wise, I like it. It's pretty sweet. You're gonna have no problem with filling it with vacancy and that kind of thing. So we like the location. It's very trendy. The appreciation potential is pretty high. So let's take a deeper look into the listing here. One thing that jumped out at me is that they specifically mention roof replaced in 2002. So cool. Like, I wouldn't, as a listing agent, I wouldn't even mention that. It's like too old to mention. And looking at this thing, it's not a three-dimensional shingle roof. So they put a cheap roof on it as a flat roof back in 2002. So really, this thing is probably near the end of its life regardless, because those aren't 30-year roofs. They're like 15-year roofs. So I don't know why we even mentioned that. And then there was another mention here. Oh yeah, dry basement, which is pretty hilarious. As we look through these pictures, I'll show you what I mean by that. But otherwise, like, it's an up-down duplex, which is fine. They're 2 bed, 1 bath. So you've only got the potential for like roommates is hard because there's only 1 bathroom. It's not a townhouse style, meaning they're not side by side with 2 floors. Those generally, in my experience, lease for higher amounts because they're more like a home, they're more like a house. You've got a set of stairs in it. Traditionally, in those duplexes here in Columbus, You also get a separate basement. This is a shared basement. So they're really, oh, and the price. They're asking 485. So think about that. So they're asking $500,000 basically for a 2-bed, 1-bath unit. And I'll show you what it rents here for, but it does not rent for $2,500 a month, especially in the current condition. So let's get a feel for like what this thing looks like. What can we tell from the pictures? First thing I see is that there's like turf on the back steps, which just tells me it hasn't been updated in a while. It's old. They talk about how it's been well maintained. When you pull up the auditor's information, like it's just owned by a couple, this Michael Hughes and Tracy Garrett or whatever. So nothing against them, great. And you would think, oh, they got it for $0 in 2014. That's weird. No, Michael bought this thing for 60 grand back in 2000. So he's trying to 10x his money basically here, which is fine. No hate, man. I like it. But like if you had put any work into it, maybe they talk about they replaced updated mechanicals, the new storm doors, which is kind of weird to mention. I don't really see any value in that. New electrical, plumbing supply and drains, garage with 2 openers. Ooh, you get an opener for both units. Weird. Washer dryer sets remain with the building. I would hope so for that price. All kitchen appliances included. I personally, after you'll see them, I'd throw them out if it were me and get updated ones. Roof replaced in 2022, chimney cap. Like, so honestly, like, who freaking cares, man? Like nothing that they listed here is worth mentioning to me. It may be well updated and well maintained, but but nothing's been updated, as you'll see, probably since they bought this thing in 2000. I mean, they apparently redid some electrical, but my question would be, okay, like, but did you like? I don't think they gutted the place and redid it, and you'll see why. Mostly because this archway is definitely an original styling. If they had tore that out, they would have, or if they had totally redone the place, they probably would have tore that out. Dishwasher is in the unit, but it's like its own little shelf thing because it doesn't fit next to the sink. So you're going to be going back and forth and like spreading water all over the place as you're doing your dishes, which is kind of annoying. I mean, these are probably original countertops. These cabinets are definitely original cabinets. That hardware is original. This stove is like, okay, it's like a nice little propane or gas stove, fine. Not updated cosmetically. They got shelves up here, I guess is fine. That sink like is a pretty standard landlord rental sink. This kitchen in general is really like kind of small and weird. I'd probably take that wall out if it were me to open it up if you could. And then kind of same story throughout the bedrooms. Floor's in good shape. Like what's original and what's here's in good shape. So like I give them credit for not letting it go to shit. And like the doors are nice real wood. So there's certainly old character that's worth keeping. I can't fault them for that, but generally, I mean, this is a full bed and this thing damn near takes up the whole room here. So these are small bedrooms. This is clearly a kid's bedroom, for what I could tell, or maybe a young adult's. They got a locker here or whatever. And then not an updated bathroom, just standard shower insert, not even a nice kind of updated vanity. Shared basement. Now this on the floor is what I really wanted to show y'all. They called out specifically dry basement, which was weird to me because duh. But you can clearly see where there's water trails that have been coming in for who knows how long. So I'm guessing in all these corners, there's probably water intrusion issues, or there were. Why you wouldn't fix that on the floor. If you had done that. Oh, look, there's literally water here you can see on the floor, and I bet it's coming in from that corner right there, or it's coming out of this drain or something like that. All the mechanicals are in the basement, so it's shared mechanicals, which is fine, no big deal. What's interesting is there's 2 water heaters, but I only see, oh, there are 2 furnaces there. Okay, I stand corrected. And they talked about updated water heaters. These water heaters don't look that new to me. The furnaces look pretty good. Or one of them is like, this one to me looks newer than this one. But even if this guy had put 200 grand into mechanicals in the past 10 years, it doesn't really justify the price. And I can tell you this isn't a new water heater because look at all this rust down here. Like, so this one might be new. I bet he had one like this. It burned out or it went bad. And so they just basically put the same one on, but it's not a recent one. This is still probably, I don't know, I'd say 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe 10. This is the carpeted unit upstairs, which is fine. Again, it's nothing updated, same kitchen, same cabinets, whatever. So I'm kind of bashing on this. I want you to let you know it's a solid rental unit. Like these things would rent all day long, but they're not going to rent for a premium amount that make this price justifiable. And they're going to rent to great long-term tenants. So this to me is a building that you want like see, I say that and I almost take it back because if you think about who your long-term tenant is, traditionally it's a family, they get kids in school, they don't want to move after, and this area is not really that area because you're not going to Grandview schools, you're still in Columbus schools. So this to me, target market's a young professional. So maybe you're trying to keep it for them, trying to keeping it affordable, that kind of thing. I love the friggin' what's his name picture on the wall. Seth, what's his name, smoking a joint. That's great. And then you each get a 1-car garage. Great. It's not fenced in, so dog owners, can't just let their dog out. And then on the back of the house here, oh, it didn't show it that well. Those AC units I can almost guarantee are like original to the damn house. Those are 25+ year old units. I bet those units take that R whatever refrigerant that's like illegal to use now. So nothing special other than it's a great location. But otherwise it would make a great rental. It's just not at $500,000. So let's look at like where we would buy this. What's a more realistic price? So if we pull up Zillow and we'll be looking this area, we're over here off of this is that jog that you were this is over there. This is that cutoff on 3rd Street right here that I was talking to you about, where the school system or the friggin' blanking school district, Grandview Schools is over here, right? And then Upper Arlington's over here. So this is adjacent to Upper Arlington also. Ashland's over here. So this is where we are. So to get $2,200, you need a 3-bed, 1-bath. $1,400 is a 2-bed, 1-bath. So let's look at this thing. And this thing is like updated to the 9s. 18 days listed, 41 contracts, fully renovated. Great unit, laundry and 2-bed, 1-bath, $1,800. Like, this is kind of what we're dealing with here. Same general outdated cosmetics, but it's clean, well maintained. Everything probably works. Just not super updated. They're trying to get $1,800 for it. Okay. I would probably be anticipating these renting. I don't know what they're currently rented for, but they're not going to be getting more than $1,500 a month. So even if we give them the benefit of the doubt that you get $1,500 a month, that puts us at $3,000 a month gross. So what do those numbers start to look like? Well, for 485, I did 4,500 in closing costs for 1%. We'll actually cover this first. Sorry, I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I did the numbers before and it was like not that great. So I said, okay, well, would a house hacker or someone who's going to live in one unit pay this price to get a reduction on their mortgage payment? What does that look like? So generally, a house hacker is going to be an FHA mortgage. So I did 16,000. That's like 3.5% down. Do a rate buy down because rates right now are like 7+%. I actually had somebody tell me they got a quote for 8.5 yesterday. So at 6.5 with a rate buy down, get some seller concessions, 30-year term, no more points. So technically, the seller would pay that buy down. If we give them a very generous, you're going to get $2,000 for the other unit, let's say, which I think is ridiculous. You're not going to get that, but very generous. Let's go with it. Taxes are going to go up if you close at that price. They're currently at $4,600 a year, so almost $5,000 a year. They're definitely going to go up to almost double that if we're going to pay almost double what the evaluation is. It's only at a $250,000 evaluation for the city, which honestly, that's more like what I would think this thing would be worth. Like that's where I would totally understand this being appraised and evaluated. So you take 5% for everything expenses wise, and as a house hack, you end up basically you have to pay almost as much as the other person as if they're paying $2,000 in rent. They're not going to pay $2,000. You'll probably get, if you get the 1,800, I would be really impressed in this place. So this cash on cash number is not super accurate. But you could talk about how, like, okay, I put 21 grand down, almost 22 grand down, and I'm getting 2,000 a month in income. Like, that's kind of a better way to look at it. That's not exactly a cash on cash return, because it's not net and you got expenses and everything like that. But like, to get into an investment property and control your cost of living, it could be okay. But at the end of the day, you're not really making any money, and you're putting yourself in a position so that, like, when you leave, you're also, your return for your pro forma, your NOI is only 2.4%. So then when you leave, like, say you're like, okay, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm going to rent both units. So then let's say that's in a couple of years and you do get $2,000 a unit, and that goes up to $4,000. Okay. So you're gone. You keep the same mortgage. You're still losing money. Like, unless you get a better mortgage or refinance, if rates went down, maybe it turns out better. You're still going to lose money. You're still getting negative cash on cash. It's not that great. So, okay, well, like, let's see if we do 20% down as a standard. Fuck it. Let's do 25% down. Then you get seller concessions. We're still going to get $4,000 a month here, which you're not, but for the sake of argument. Okay, we get 376 grand. So you're going to put 125 grand down, and you're going to get $1.50, basically $1.60 a unit. No way, dude. Not worth it at all. 3.6% cash on cash return. Like, this is hot, overpriced garbage. So the other issue you're going to have is this thing even going to appraise? And that's a whole other discussion we're not even going to go into. So just like, what are we even talking about? I'd pay, off the top of my head, I'm going to say 350, because that's still, in my mind, not even the 1% rule. Let's use a practical rent. Like, what are we, and this is aggressive even. I'm going to say we're still going to put 25% down. We're still going to get seller concessions, but our gross monthly rent, let's say you get 1,800 a unit. So let's do the 3,600 a month total. Okay. I think that is doable. The $2,000 a month is going to be difficult. Oh, and by the way, I have no property management. You're self-managing this thing right now. So yeah. Now this thing starts to make some sense. Oh, these numbers are incorrect. That's, something went weird. That can't be right. Oh, 35,000. That's why I forgot a fucking zero. Okay. All right. Now you're starting to make sense. We're getting up towards, like, over interest rates. So you're getting a better return on your money. You're getting $300 a unit in cash flow, which is what I would expect for a unit that still needs work, still needs updated. Like, I don't care if it rents and if it whatever. You have to think about the product of your unit and how it competes with other units out there. People will pay a premium for a premium product. That's not a premium product for the reasons I mentioned, with it being up, down, not updated, everything like that. So this is like where I would start to get interested. Like, I am pretty interested at this point. A lot of investor would be interested for $300 a door in net cash flow. But I'm missing some expenses. Like, we don't have, we're putting 25% down. Let's say we put 9% in for property management. If you're going to be passive, it's still not bad. Your cash on cash goes down to 4.65%. So, like, the point of me showing you this is that the property is cool. It's great. Like, the location is fantastic. It's worth buying the property for the location. It's a great property, not at 485. So the question becomes, like, do you actually want to sell this thing as the seller? So you start looking at, like, who's listing it, what is the listing, everything like that. And so then we see it's listed by this Ohio Broker Direct. I know for a fact these are one of those, like, list for 1% people, right? So all they do is, like, they put this shit on the MLS. Oh, it's under exclusive agency, so it's not even exclusive right to sell. So this guy, This is like a classic investor seller client who he's obviously done well. He's managed the property himself. He thinks or whatever that he's a great investor, which is fine. And so he doesn't need the help of an agent. He just needs somebody to put it on the MLS. Great, no problem. So he goes to these people. He says, here's what I want to sell my place for. I don't even know if they have a listing appointment. And so for like a flat fee service, they throw it on the MLS, and he is going to get phone calls and emails about listings and have to deal with buyers and everything like that. They're offering $3 to a buyer broker rep, even though there's additional compensation offered, which means they'll probably offer 3%. So this just, everything about this reads, I'm cheap, right? I don't like, I'm trying to get in a reasonable amount of money. I'm not even paying for a full service broker, which is fine. Like, do what you want to do, but you've got kind of a janky listing. You've got okay pictures, and you as the seller now are in a position where this thing's been on the market for 43 days. The price hasn't dropped. They haven't even like said, okay, I'm motivated to get this price down. And maybe they're not, because maybe they're getting cash flow because he bought the place for 50 grand. So he doesn't really need to sell it. So maybe this is his number. And if he doesn't get this number, he doesn't want to sell it, which is fine. But it's also like you're not putting yourself in the shoes at this number and in this situation of anyone who's going to buy it in the current market. If this was 2020, 2021, when rates were less than half of what they are, let's do that for the hell of it. Let's see what the hell that looks like. Same deal. I'm going to drop the rate to 2.75. And then we're going to go back up to $485. Now you're talking, kind of. You're gonna get $500 a month, so you're at $250 a door, and you get 5% cash on cash. That cash on cash isn't great, but the net's pretty good. The net cash flow. I think the cash on cash isn't good because I did a 20%, 25%. Yeah. So you do a 20% down. Still okay. Anyways, this is like, he's probably looking at numbers from Zillow or wherever the hell he's got, Redfin or whatever, and this is maybe what duplexes sold for a couple of years ago in the area, or he's seen houses go for a lot of money in that area, which they do. At the height of pandemic, my sister-in-law bought a friggin' $500,000 fixer-upper on Broadview, but that's in Grandview Schools. That makes a big difference. So, yeah, it's an interesting property. Like, I like it. I think it's definitely a property I'd love to take down with people, but it's just like, I don't like, what are you supposed to do? Like, who would ever buy this for? You just have to, I guess my point is that if you are an investor and you're thinking about selling a property, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person who's going to buy it, and think about, what are they going to get out of it? What is the sales pitch? Because right now it's like, hey, buy my house or buy my duplex so you can lose money and have a headache. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, yeah, like net. They're quoting $20,200 for a net operating income. So this guy's saying this place currently rents, it's 28 grand, $200 a year divided by 12. This thing grosses $23.50 a month divided by 2. This dude's got it rented out for $11.75 a unit, which is great. They also mentioned low tenant turnover. No shit. At $11.75, that's some of the cheapest rent in Columbus, honestly. So, like, you're inheriting tenants that have low rents. Sure, you can increase the rents. That's great. But, like, at $20,200, divide that by 485. He wants a 4 cap. Who would get a 4% return and accept that when the current interest rates are damn near 8%? Like, just, do you want to sell your house or not, man? That's really what I have to say about it. So honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curious if a seller, if they'd be up for a seller finance situation, because yeah, this is ridiculous. But anyway, that's my rambling. Hope you enjoyed it. I thought it'd be a little more entertaining to go through why it's a bad deal rather than why it's a good deal, because it's not a good deal. So thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Michael again. If you have any questions about this or any other property out there, happy to walk it through it with you. And see y'all in the next one.